Between the two of you, who do you think's the bigger brother?
I am.
Okay.
I am, you know.
Yeah, I think it's one thing finding a good rugby player, but also to find the fit for Rondebosch is very important. And it was evident from the start that both Lamla and Lukhanyo were those Bosch boys.
You know, you would hear people talking about rugby, and back in the days, it was not like a big thing. Rugby was not really a big thing in Khayelitsha, so I used to play soccer, fun fact. And then I got introduced by a friend. He was like, hey, Lamla, let's just go try this thing. And after training, there's food. And I was like, oh, food, okay. And then after that, I just fell in love with the people. I fell in love with Coach Mari, how he was. I fell in love with Coach Max, you know, crack jokes here and there, Coach Younger.
I've never played rugby in my life when I met him. So it was the first time of everything, first time seeing white people. I mean, where I come from, we don't see white people every day. You only see them like once in a while. So hearing about him that he's in my community and my friend introduced me to him, I was actually nervous because I couldn't speak English that time. I was doing Xhosa as a home language.
I just wanted to play rugby, and then I fell in love with the sport. I felt like it's where I could like release whatever I was feeling at the time, whatever I was going through when I was in the field. I could like, you know, feel comfortable. I felt like I have a voice. I felt like I could, you know, talk to people. I felt like I could have fun.
When I started playing rugby, most people had doubted me that I can actually become a rugby player. So I didn't know where it was gonna go, and I just kept on going to practice with my friends, because after practice we'd get food, we'd enjoy, have fun, go home, day is done, tomorrow we do the same thing all over. So that to me took me away from the things that were happening at my community at that time. So it felt like, to me, this is a good thing that I should be doing.
In the beginning with Connect, it was just about touch rugby, and we'll go to like touch tournaments and everything. And I was quite big. I was like 13. I was wearing like 95 kgs. So obviously you can understand how it was a bit challenging for me to play touches. But then coach introduced physical contact, like contact rugby. And then that's when I started knowing where I'm good at. That's when I got introduced to things like scrumming and everything. And then from then I was like, I'm not gonna look back. And coach was very honest from the beginning that like, look, I'm here in Khayelitsha, I'm gonna provide you guys with opportunities that maybe you're never gonna find again in your lifetime. And back then, like, I mean, you just in Khayelitsha, there's nothing much to do after school. It's just school. Everyone just knows school. No one really cares about sport. And then we just took the leap of faith, and we just kept on going, and we're here now. So basically, we went to this school, this big school, almost bigger than where we come from, you know, and everyone is rich, everyone is driving nice things, they come with nice things, and we just two little boys from Khayelitsha.
I was overwhelmed for some time, because where we come from, where we used to play, there were no fields like that. The environment was clean. So everywhere you walk, you just see clean walls. It's all tidy. The place is all tidy. Whereas the school where I come from, I was never used to all of that. So it was the change that I had to make to accommodate or adapt to that environment. That was the difficult part, because I felt like most people didn't understand where we were coming from. So they expected us to quickly adapt.
But then we told ourselves why we're here. We knew why we were there, and we always felt like we can't disappoint, we can't disappoint what Connect has done for us. We can't disappoint Coach Murray and all his efforts. And then we knew from then that all we have to do is just stick around together, and most of the time we'll just be together, try motivate each other. When the other one is feeling down, just try lift them up, like, hey boy, listen, we're here for this and this. And this is the plan and this is the future. So it was just always us two together.
So when I came to Rondebosch, I had to transition from AFL English to home language English. So that itself was a lot, because I didn't know. I've never read a Shakespeare in my life. First time I'm reading a Shakespeare and doing a test on it.
With the rugby, it was no doubt from the start that Lukhanyo had all the talent. He was incredible ball carrier, incredibly explosive, powerful runner. And Lamla was the quiet one, the one with the potential to get a lot better. And it was evident from the start that his work ethic is a real strength. They were completely committed to rugby. This year was their arena. This is where they lived, where they breathed, where they came alive.
The big thing for us was our Saturday morning rounds of as many school fixtures as we could get to, having kids placed at several different schools. And Rondebosch was always a good one, because you could tell very early from being around on the touchlines. So I had quite a low profile, pretty indistinct looking, so I could kind of hover around behind parents and behind the umbrellas in the winter, and I could just hear, "Oh, he's good. Where's he come from? What's that all about?" And then when we got to know some of the parents, and some of the parents, I should say, at Rondebosch were fantastic. They were a big help for Lukhanyo and Lamla, and a really supportive part of those early days with us as well. And they actually came, and even the principal came, and the coach came. They were under 16 years. Thank you for these two. So it's all right, plenty more where they come from if you know where to look. After games, the kids were always fantastic with each other, and you could tell they immediately had the respect of their teammates. And for them to go from their home environment, kind of straight or parachuted into an environment such as Rondebosch, and to gain that respect straight away, well, that tells you everything about them. And it speaks to the acceptance and the welcoming nature of certainly the families and their teammates in that environment. And do you know what? You give two young men like that kind of leg up or that kind of platform, they're going to use it. It's an extension of where we started, so they've always risen to meet every challenge that was put in front of them. Well, now they're going into a school first team, a year young. Like, going to be all right? They're going to be okay? Yeah, probably. Of course they were.
And they gave everything. I mean, I can remember matches, I can remember runs of Lukhanyo, I can remember some scrums of Lamla. So they made a massive impression on not only myself, but on Rondebosch rugby, and a lot of the old boys still talk about the Rondebosch Rhinoster that bulldozed his way through people here. And so I'm very proud of the way they developed through our structures, and for the men that they've become and the players that they've become, and that they continue to love the game and they continue to play the game. And I think that gives me more satisfaction than anything else.
I remember my first time wearing that #1 jersey for Rondebosch boys. We were actually playing at Newlands Stadium. We were playing against Paul boys, and the stadium was just packed, and I don't know, it felt like a dream. And I was just walking, I was running down there, and then we were in the huddle. While everyone was just talking, I was just reflecting back on where I come from. Like, I just come from the grassroots of Kailicha, and now I'm here at Newlands playing my first game, and the stands is packed, my school is busy, they're singing. I couldn't even listen to the captain. They were praying. I was just like looking up and just taking the moment. And the nice thing about it is my boy was next to me. I was just hugging Lukhanyo next to me, and we were just both looking up, and I was just like, yeah, one of the best memories I had.